And now I'm going to deal with the Dorticos phone calls. Osvaldo Dorticos was the president of Cuba at the time of the assassination. And on the 26th, even though it says the 29th here, it is noted as the 26th elsewhere. And it obviously is the 26th in the context of what is said. On the 26th, he called his ambassador to Mexico, Joaquin Hernandez Armas. And he's in the Cuban embassy in Mexico. And there's a list of other people involved here, but the two principals here are Dorticos and Hernandez. And this is a document that comes from the CIA, an intercepted phone call, intercepted by U.S. intelligence, the call of the president of Cuba to his ambassador in Mexico City. And it's a 20-page document, and most of the pages are kind of comical because the quality of the phone call was very bad. They had difficulty hearing each other. And I'm just putting them on the screen, flipping through them quickly in order to help communicate the effort being made here by the president of Cuba to talk to his ambassador, and he has one specific question in mind. So this is a very important question to Dorticos. And when they can finally hear each other, on page 13, they're talking about Sylvia Duran. And Hernandez says, "I was telling you that she was arrested on Saturday afternoon and released at dawn next morning. Yes, and yesterday I finally succeeded in locating her and talking to her. She received me, and I took advantage of the fact that one of our planes was preparing to leave with our mail." And what he's talking about is he made out a report, and Dorticos has read that report. And this was yesterday that it went on the plane. Yes, I know you sent it. I have the document here. You don't have to tell me about that. Yes. The incidents I have just finished relating occurred. In addition to the interrogation, Dorticos interrupts. What did they ask her? So Dorticos is very interested in what the Mexicans asked Duran. They asked her concretely if she knew this individual, and he means Oswald. Intimate relations? Yes, she denied it, saying that he was but one of hundreds of cases of persons who came to the consulate requesting visas, and the only reason that she recalled some of the specific details of this case was because this man created an incident with our consul. And Dorticos interrupts again, and I guess it's inaudible. The transcriber can't hear what's being said. And Hernandez comes on again, was involved in an incident in which Consul Askew rebuked him and practically threw him out of the consulate. Yes. Was she mistreated? Yes. What did they do to her? She has black and blue marks on her arms, which she said she got during the interrogation process. They were squeezing her arms. In what form did the girl relate to you the facts of the incident? In this manner, Mr. President, they went to her house, placed her under arrest, and took her to the offices of the federal police, and there she was interrogated to the degree already related to you. Aha. Exactly what transpired when she was mistreated. The mistreatment occurred during interrogation as they attempted to impress her so that she would confess everything that she knew. It was then that she was grabbed by the arms and they shoved her around. Listen, Joaquin. Yes. Did they ask her anything specifically? And it fades out. No, absolutely not. It seems that, Dorticos interrupts, did they attempt to get a deposition from her? No, absolutely not. According to her account, they limited themselves to investigating her relations and those of her husband with this individual. And finally we hear it. Anything said about money. This is why Dorticos called. He wants to know about money. No, I haven't said anything about money. I haven't spoken anything about that. That is to say, I wasn't told to talk to her about that. Dorticos interrupts again. Other comrades of ours were asked about that. So Dorticos is concerned that the Cubans are being asked, or the Cuban comrades, some of them are Mexicans, are being asked about money. Well, I asked her if they had made interest in, if they had interrogated of the intention, if other purposes were involved, and she absolutely did not mention anything about that. He means about inquiry about money. She did not tell me anything about that. Anyway, if you can locate her, JHA interrupts, yes. Can you locate her now? Yes, sir. Good. Ask her a little bit more about the question she was asked and call me. Perfectly. Okay, I will await your call. And that's the end of the first call. And this was in the morning, and you didn't call back until late in the evening because the phones were down. And this is from the second call. Hernandez, I spoke with that person, he means Duran, and she did not tell me anything important in addition to what I previously reported to you and verified orally. Aha! Regarding the concrete point which you inquired about, exactly. She said that no offers of any kind at all were made. No, I was not inquiring about anything of the sort. Oh, that is what I understood with the confusion. No, I was referring to whether she had been threatened so that she would declare that the people at the consulate had given money to this person, the American. Understand? No, nothing of the sort. Nothing along those lines? No, nothing of that. So what Dorticos is concerned with here, why he even calls twice, spends a good portion of his day talking to his ambassador, is he wants to know if Sylvia Duran had been threatened, coerced, or whether they had tried to coerce her into declaring that the Cubans had given money to Oswald. That's what he's worried about. And we do have a witness who said that he saw this happen. That is, who said that he was in the Cuban embassy and he saw the Cubans give Oswald money, $6,500, for the purpose of facilitating the murder of somebody. Alvarado said he didn't know who it was. Now, this story was recanted under interrogation and then later reasserted by Alvarado. He said he recanted it because his interrogators threatened to hang him by his testicles if he didn't recant it. But then he reasserted the veracity of his story. So I think the Cubans really did pay this money to somebody, either Oswald or somebody who looked something like Oswald, and that Dorticos knows that this happened, and that's why he's so concerned. He's curious as to whether the Americans know that they paid Oswald $6,500, and he wants to know if they tried to get Sylvia Duran to say so. Back to Alvarado, he was given a lie detector test, and according to the CIA, he failed it. And I'm going to read this part from their report. An attempt to verify the identity of the person seen in the Cuban consulate as Oswald was made during polygraph testing. During testing, subject was shown 2 photographs of Oswald and was asked a question referring to his having seen this person at the Cuban consulate on 18 September. Each time subject was shown the photograph, he indicated that this was the person seen. However, he exhibited polygraph reactions indicative of deception. When confronted with the fact that the polygraph indicated that he was practicing deception on these questions, subject stated that he had heard of the polygraph and respected its accuracy. He stated that if the polygraph indicated that the fact that he was lying, then that must be so. He admitted that he could have made an honest mistake. So I think that perhaps what's going on here, why he failed the polygraph, if he really did, and who knows for sure, if he failed it, it might be because all of this happened, but the person he saw may not have been Oswald, that he wasn't really sure it was Oswald. that there was this, and he also said, I don't have that right here, but he also said this person was wearing glasses, and Oswald is not known to wear glasses. So he may not have been sure that this was Oswald, but said so anyway, and maybe that's the source of the detected deception. Perhaps this can be explained with the help of the William Gaudet and Oswald tourist card coincidence. Gaudet and Oswald were both issued Mexican tourist cards on September 17th. This is a known fact. They're sequential, one right after the other. And we know that Gaudet did not use his tourist card. So Gaudet got a tourist card that he never used, and he went on his trip on the 19th. So he should have known he didn't need that tourist card. So I think what happened was that Gaudet and Oswald, and let's call this Oswald Harvey, they both go to the Mexican consulate, but each one has identification for the other. That is, Gaudet goes there with identification for Lee Harvey Oswald, but he's an older man, so he gets a visa with Oswald's information but with his age on it. Harvey goes there with Gaudet's information and gets a tourist card with Gaudet's information, except the age is his actual age, and for the purposes here I'll say he's 23 because that's how old Lee Harvey Oswald was. So they each get visas in each other's name, and then Harvey flies to Mexico City on September 18th as William Gaudet and is paid money in the Cuban consulate. So Alvarado sees Harvey, who went under a different name to Mexico City. And then Lee Harvey Oswald later takes the bus to Mexico City on September 26th under his own name with the wrong age. And as I went over in another video, on his return to the United States, he has a document problem and is taken off the bus. And we don't know exactly what the problem was, but I think probably the problem was that he had the wrong age on his tourist visa card. But he would have had his passport, which gave the right age, so they probably would have just written that off as a clerical error. Gaudet was a CIA asset, we know that, but he wouldn't have been known to Harvey or Lee as a CIA asset. So I think this is all consistent with a Cuban plot that's been infiltrated by the CIA, and it's really a Cuban plot, all this Mexico City stuff. It's a way to pay Oswald the money, and the trip on the bus is there to be the decoy, so that if anybody, like Alvarado, says he saw Oswald in Mexico City involved with the Cubans, it can be reasonably denied because Oswald at this time is still back in New Orleans and he comes later. So if there's any accounts of Oswald in Mexico City before that, it can be dismissed as a mistaken witness, a confused witness. So this Dorticos telephone call questioning his ambassador about whether Sylvia Duran had been, whether an attempt had been made to coerce her into saying that Oswald was paid money in the Cuban consulate, fits right in with what I think is a Cuban plot here. Oswald, Harvey, and Lee are both working for the Cubans, and one is providing an alibi for the other. Lee Harvey Oswald stays in New Orleans. Well, Harvey goes and does business, and then Lee goes to Mexico City as the decoy, so that if anybody saw Harvey doing conspiratorial stuff with the Cubans, it could be dismissed as a witness error.